Welcome to the It's All Fine and Danjee podcast, where hosts Dan and Anjee talk with creatives, small business owners, charities, and all kinds of interesting people. It's all real talk. It's all fine and Danjee.
It is all fine and Danjee.
All
Each
right.
and every single day, isn't it?
We say that, as corny as it sounds at the end, we do say that.
Well, you have to treat every day like it's all fine and Danjee.
I guess so.
Dandy, Danjee, whatever you want to say. But anyway, welcome everybody to the show. We thank you so much each and every week for tuning in to see who's in studio or where we are at. And this week we are in studio, and we have to be excited for who's in the studio tonight because of the business that they have and the product that they offer. Who wouldn't be excited,
Oh,
right?
fudge. I'm excited.
It's, what is it? It's freaking...
It's fudging amazing.
It's fudging
fudging
amazing.
amazing.
I love that. I love that.
I'm honestly over here wondering if you're going to get our guest's last name right.
Okay, I'm not even going to look at the spelling. Okay, so we have Brenda LaBattaglia.
Awesome.
Did I do it?
Spot
Woo!
on.
Yeah. And we have Joe Gardner. Your last name's easy.
It's
I got
simple.
it. Got it. It's like our last name.
It's simple, it's boring, you know.
Hey, I went through life with the name Dan Fox. Everybody, and my middle name's Ray. So everyone's like, is that really your name?
Is that a
But
real
yeah.
name?
That's a real name.
So anyway, we're excited to have you here. I have actually tried, Dan has tried your fudge before as well because we found it at the Crafted Scent Bar in Eustis.
Yeah.
And I was doing candle thing with my girls' night out. And then I'm like, what's that over there on the counter? I'm taking that home.
And
so
until for those of you listening, I always say that, and everyone's listening because we only do audio now.
Yeah.
But we didn't even know that was your fudge until 5 minutes ago before we started
When I
recording.
asked.
So that's pretty
That's
cool.
fantastic.
Yeah. So it was awesome,
Yes.
but you brought some samples, I understand. So I'm definitely not going to pass that up.
Yes, I did. I
I know
You get
it's-
to have it for later.
it's like we had a cookie guy on a while ago and he brought samples. I'm like, man, we should just start like
Petitioning for samples.
petitioning for like samples. I mean, we love them. But
We
all
do.
the sweet stuff.
So I have a question to get us started here. I think this is, we'll talk about how you came up with the business and the name of it. And I know there's some history in the recipe, at least one of them. Was this business, did it exist before COVID or was it born from COVID? And the reason I ask that is we've found so many businesses are.
So, well, I know that my family has always said you should open a fudge shop.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a good sign.
Yep. So because of COVID, I started working from home because I do work a day job for a healthcare system. And of course, when you live in Tiberias and you have to drive downtown
Oh, yeah.
and drive back home, you kind of are very limited in the time you have to put to anything. It's drive home, get dinner, and all that kind of fun stuff.
Because the commute.
Because of
takes
the
your time.
commute,
Yeah.
it's a good hour there and an hour back. And so when COVID came and they shut the office down, and I got 2 hours of my day, and I thought, oh gosh,
We don't
this
realize
is
how
gonna be-
excited we're going to be by that, right?
I was super excited. I know that sounds kind of odd to hear, but
Well, not really.
I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm, not glad that COVID happened, but I'm
Of course,
super
of
glad to
course.
work from home.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because I got 2 hours back in my day, and so come around summertime, I don't remember even the year. Must have been, maybe it was last year, and the governor decided to lift some of the requirements to be able to have a cottage type business. There were some limitations. You could only make a certain amount of income per year. And then not only did you have to have like state licenses, you had to have local licenses. So if I didn't have a license in Eustis, I couldn't sell in Eustis or Tiberias. And he lifted all of that. And so it started twirling in my mind about the summer of last year. And then I was just quietly doing things, I'd sit in my chair every evening and things would just noodle around. And come about early November, I popped my head up over the computer, and I looked over to Joe sitting in his spot on the couch, and I said, "So I'm opening a fudge shop." And he looked at me and he says, "So I guess I'm building a website."
Oh, I love it though.
And
I'm
it
instantly on
started
board.
from there. It just kind of started from there. Yeah.
I love how we just met you guys tonight, but of course you guys were talking shop about techie stuff.
Right.
And I love how that's exactly what he would do. Is he would go right to the techie part that he had to do. That's what he did with the podcast when we
It's like a list
up
builds
with-
immediately.
Yeah,
in
when
your
we
it's
head.
like,
came up with the
okay,
idea. He's
Website,
like,
store.
Yep.
Yep. So it's so funny. So that's great.
But it's
So-
also like a form of encouragement because you're immediately like, I'm
You're
on
on
board.
board.
Whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
I'm on board. And that
Yes.
is to me, that's neat. That's a must because it's hard to, we have these ideas sometimes of how we're going to do something or start a business or start a thing. And when our loved ones jump right in line behind us and go, "I'm with you, let's do it." Then you're like, okay, I'm really going to do it now.
It just gives you even more of that fire to
But
kind
I
of
mean,
go
you guys
forward.
have had the fudge, so I mean,
Oh, so
It's a
you were that's-
no-brainer.
yeah, it's like,
Joe's like, don't give me too much credit. I'd had the fudge already.
you taste this fudge once, and it's like, yeah, we're going to sell a lot of fudge. 'cause
Yeah.
it's
It's a
that
lot of
good.
fudge.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So do you get to taste test throughout the process?
Absolutely, I am.
He's got the worst job.
Yeah,
That is amazing.
I know that job just seems like it sucks.
I know.
We've got how many flavors you have to do tonight? 7. So that's 7 spatulas I'm going to have to lick.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a tough gig. Tough
You know what
gig.
though? Licking
I
the spatula is
know.
like the best part. Like, doesn't that bring back memories of being a kid when you got to like lick the blender, little
That's
things
it.
that
Yes,
your mom would give you.
Yeah.
And so that just brings back like those memories of childhood of just being
Yeah,
able to taste test right out of the bowl like that.
Right.
So I love that.
That is true. Yeah, that used to be my daughters. I have two grown daughters and 5 grandkids now, and that used to be their job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
So this is obviously you've been making fudge for years. I'm sure like during the holidays, that is kind of your gift, or the thing that you're bringing to the holiday parties and stuff like that. So tell us a little bit about where you learned to make this delicious recipe because, if you're a baker and you kind of came up with it on your own, but we know that's not the case because we did a little research on the website there. So there's a little history behind the recipe here.
There is. So, my grandmother, Meem, she used to be the person who brought fudge to Thanksgiving and Christmas. And of course, it was the classic flavors, as we all know, like the chocolate and the chocolate with nuts and different things like that. And I don't know, I think I probably was, 8 or 9 when I, sidled up to the stove with her and I said, I want to learn what you're doing. And the first batch of fudge that I got to make on my own with her by my side was the panucci fudge. And
What is it called again?
Panucci.
Panucci.
I don't even know what that is.
Panucci.
I don't either, but I bet
So
we're
we're gonna
about to
learn.
find out.
I know. So it's butterscotch.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh,
it-
okay.
And it remains today probably my favorite flavor, but a lot because it brings back very fond memories.
Because it's
of
an
making fudge with
association,
her.
right?
There's
Yeah.
very fond, yes, definitely.
It's funny how
So-
food smells and tastes do that to us,
It
like
really
trigger
does.
memories.
Yep. And so of course I was a young girl, so then wasn't something that I did on the regular. But then when I had my daughters and my grandmother passed, somebody had to bring the fudge,
Yeah.
and so I started. I had her recipe, and so I started making just the chocolate, and we'd make peanut butter and. As the years, the girls were getting older and the family, hey, do you suppose you can make this flavor or that flavor? And, that's how different flavors
Yeah.
kind of grew into the menu. And I would bring fudge into work and someone would say, hey, and I'll tell you this story. So I had a colleague that I worked with recently and her favorite flavor was banana.
That is the weirdest thing ever.
Isn't it, for a fudge flavor?
But banana and chocolate is good together. So
Absolutely. So her favorite thing was like a banana chocolate cake. And I thought, I can make a banana fudge. Sure, I can make a banana
You
fudge.
guys say it sounds weird. It sounds amazing to me.
Right? And so I did. I figured out how to make a banana fudge, and it's on the list of flavors that we can do.
Does it seem to be like something you carry regularly? Is it more like special request type thing?
Yeah, so it's one of those that I don't make on the regular. But if somebody orders it, then I'll go ahead and make it. I did make some and send her because her birthday is in November, so I try to make some and send that to her on when it's her.
So,
it's her favorite.
So now you kind of do take special requests then for when people, it's like the cotton candy girl, Ashley Trinidad, she's, if somebody's like, oh, can you make Fruity Pebbles? Oh, yeah, I'm going to
see that.
And she figures it out. Even
That's exactly how we've gotten to over 40 flavors.
Oh, it's over 40 now because I had read over 35. So you're just climbing and climbing still.
Yeah. Now,
Joe has to update the website.
Yeah.
So, over 40. Oh,
some of it is, like just variations, like the maple. So we can do a plain maple, then we can do a maple with pecan, we can do a maple with walnut. And then if you know the Captain Crazies, Chris and Christy, they do amazing things with, pecans and walnuts and different things. So I take some of theirs. They've got a bourbon maple brown sugar pecan that I add into my maple fudge.
Wow.
And so there's variations of things like that.
I love that. And you're partnering with another small business.
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. And so then it gives us the opportunity to cross promote, and I can help them, grow their business as well, which is really one of the great things about this small business community that I've found myself in.
Yes.
And I think, as you mentioned, earlier, I think a lot of businesses kind of grew out of, we all got sent home, or a lot of people lost their jobs. And I think the small business community just kind of popped up because of all of that. And it's amazing because there's a whole group of people out that are just so cool.
And the other great thing is it's such a close-knit community, so supportive of each other.
Yeah.
There's no competition. Nope. It's like, what can I do to help you and elevate you? Even if you're selling, I mean, when you go to an event and maybe there's 3 fudge people, everybody maybe brings something a little different, and you're elevating each other, not taking away at all. And that's what I love about that community.
Yeah,
I love how you both call it community too, because it's not always just the small business owners. It's the people that maybe work for a big company but want to support the small business. And that's what we noticed right away during COVID. Like the mom and pop restaurants that we love, we've shopped there more and bought stuff to go and bought, and all these small businesses to try to keep everybody afloat during COVID. And what I feel like it came out of that is, for us and what we've seen meeting with all these small businesses, it seems like a lot of us now shop more small business than anything than we did before COVID, even though we're kind of out of it or whatever we are now. But it kind of made us aware that, and so
something stuck with us. That
So
we
Anjee
need
and
to
I will
continue
purposely,
this.
we'll be getting ready to go somewhere that maybe is a chain, and then we'll go, you know what, let's go to that other place because that's going to help the mom and pop business instead. So I love how you guys call it community, because it really is the community,
It really is,
So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
interested in how you, because the Whimsy Market, we love those girls. And that's kind of the community you're talking about that you got introduced into. So I'm interested to know, who did you know that brought you into the group, or did you just hear about it word of mouth? Like, we love to hear those stories about how you discovered, look at all these amazing vendors that I could be a part of, these events.
Yeah, I want to say that it was through Melissa of the Crafted Scent Bar. And I met Melissa through a networking group that I was part of up until just a few months ago. And she was there as a visitor. And she and I hit it off right away. And
she's so sweet.
Oh my gosh.
There's my candle right there. It's the best creation that's ever been made in
I
there.
know, right?
That's what she said all the men say.
All the men say that.
Only the
I know,
men.
right? I know. So she and I hit it off immediately, and she said, "Hey, you got to get connected with this group." And she tells me who. I go searching on Facebook,
word of mouth.
and that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I don't, you guys know advertising and marketing. That is by far the best way to, get the word out. And
Yeah.
It really
especially
is.
when you're a mom and pop business and so many people, it's so easy to go to the big stores and go shop online and different things like that. Notice I ain't saying their name.
Yeah. Good for you.
So it's easy and convenient to do that.
Yeah.
But when you have someone like the Whimsy girls and you've got the, Ashley and Melissa and the whole team out there just, and we're all just speaking each other's praises and telling people about their businesses. It's huge.
And you guys aren't only doing that though. Every time I go to an event, how much money do you spend when you
We are. We're
We do too.
shopping.
We do
because
too.
we shop.
We're
when
shopping
there.
them. Absolutely.
I mean, we'll
know?
go and MC one of their events as the podcast and then go buy a bunch of stuff while we're there because, it's like being at the mall, but it's better.
It
because
really
it's
is.
small business,
It's small business.
It is.
It's something unique. Like I'm just sick of buying cookie cutter stuff for friends and family. I want something that's different that nobody else is gonna, like Southern Wiener Dog designs. Look at this cool pen that that's like
Special, unique, and made with love.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
That's right.
And a little more work and thought went into it than the made in China stuff that you get that breaks in, a month or two half the time. So I agree. I love that it's
And especially with like even food products. Look, I used to do the bacon cookies and stuff around the holidays, and I don't do that anymore.
we're empty nesters now.
I don't do
so
that
now
anymore.
we're like, we
So
just want to buy it.
I just
know.
want to buy your good stuff and get the praises for the amazing fudge that I bought somebody. That's what I want to get.
Well, you said
you go.
your grandmother's name was Mimi, right? How do you
Yes.
pronounce the name of the business? Is it
It's
Meem?
memes.
It's memes. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a cool kind of story behind that. So my grandmother, we called her Mimi. My siblings and my cousins. There's 10 of us all together that we called her Mimi. And so when it was time, my oldest daughter was going to, have the first grandchild for me, and I was like, we got to talking. What do you want to be called? What do you want the kid? We're going to call you. And I was like, I really absolutely adore my Mimi, but I don't want to use her name.
Oh,
And so
okay.
we decided that I would be Mimi, but it would be Mimi. And then, so my oldest grandson now, he's in the 9th grade and he's 6'1".
Oh,
He's like
where does that come from,
towers
right?
right. So his dad's pretty tall, but my daughter's only 5'4", so he towers over her too. But he had to have been about 3-ish or so, and they lived here locally. They've since moved to Greenville, South Carolina, and I was a fixture in their house because my craft room was in their house because my youngest daughter and my grandson lived with me, and I didn't have craft room space. So I was a fixture. We happened to be playing with Legos, I think, one day, and he looks at me and he says, "So I'm going to start calling you Memes because you're too cool to be a Mimi."
Oh, that is like the
And-
best compliment ever.
Isn't it? So
Oh my
I just
gosh.
kind of, I was like, oh, babe, you call me whatever you want to. Memes is cool.
Now, was he your
So-
first grandchild?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going
Yeah.
to say, if
And
it was
then it
any other
sticks. It
grandchild,
does.
they're not allowed. Only the first one is allowed to rename you.
Yes, and that's what happened. And so when it came time to, name the business, so it's definitely a nod to my grandmother because it's her recipe. I learned how to make the fudge from her. And of course, my kids, my grandkids, well, even my sons-in-law, they call me Memes too instead of Mom or Brenda.
That is
Right.
cool.
So,
That's a cool name, though. I've never heard anyone called that before.
It,
It's,
it is. We have 2 grandkids, and we wanted cool grandparent names.
Right.
And so I came up with Granjee
Love it. Love
And-
because I still want my name in there.
Yeah.
And Danpa.
Danpa.
I'm like, I don't want to lose my identity.
I
And I
know.
wanna
But you
sound
can't.
cool.
But you don't get to choose.
No.
You might say you want to be Granjee and Danpa, and then they call you Meemaw and Peepaw, and you got to live with it because
You do.
You know,
Especially
when
if
you-
the first one. The first
The
one is
first
the one that
names
names you.
Yeah.
The first one names you. He was good with Mimi until I was down there making,
You
building
were
whatever Legos.
Too cool.
Too cool for
Memes.
Mimi.
That
Gotta
is
be Memes.
what a great story, though, to have that. And then the grandson, is I named her that. They get this little, excitement about
Yeah.
I picked that name. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure you have some pretty exotic flavors because you have a lot of flavors to choose from.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say this. I wrote down a couple. I don't know if I'm a traditionalist or if these aren't that traditional, but there's a few of them that really jumped out to me.
Okay.
One of them, dark chocolate walnut, sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That sounds like one that would be good with wine.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yes. I bet it is.
Yep.
Spicy dark chocolate.
Oh, I want to try this one.
So is there like some kind of pepper in it or?
So that's another collab with the Crazy Nut
Okay.
team.
Oh,
So
cool.
I do put a little cayenne in the chocolate, and I do use a dark chocolate for this one. But they do a sweet and spicy walnut, and that is with I want to say cayenne and cinnamon.
Oh, that's a good
so you
mixture.
have that
So,
and the pepper that you already put in.
Yeah, and now it's not so overwhelming, because the base
Sure.
of the fudge is a lot of sweet stuff going on. in
Yeah,
the
it
base
seems
of
like
the
it wouldn't
fudge.
taste good if it was super duper hot.
Right. So what it does, neither Joe or I kind of like that hot spicy thing, but of course I have to taste everything to make sure it's
Of course.
it's gonna pass the Meem's fudge test. So
Sure.
when you take it, you don't really feel the heat until you swallow and you get it right there in the back of those taste buds.
Ooh, like the
And,
afterburn.
and
Yeah.
then it's
Yeah.
there, and you go, "Oh, okay." There
But
it
that's what
is.
makes it really interesting.
Yeah.
It's like we just had a beer. We did a event where it was like the Bines and Brews event in Fox Valley Farm and Hop Yard,
Yep.
and it was
Homebrew.
homebrewers, so craft beer. But there was a beer there that was a habanero.
Oh,
Which
and it-
could be really gimmicky and terrible if done wrong.
Of course.
But it wasn't. It was, yeah.
But
it was-
you taste it, and there's nothing there, and then it kind of hit
and
like
it
the back of
reminded
your
me.
throat.
Because you're like, I don't take, oh.
Yeah.
There it
there's the
is, or when you breathe in or
Yep.
something. So, how
Yeah.
interesting and fun to kind of work with different flavors like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Though.
it is.
Well, it was fun learning that. We kind of got a little bit of that before with the honey.
yes.
Tell the honey story.
Yeah, so there's
I like how he says, "Tell the honey
Tell
story."
the
I
honey
like that.
story. So I have a client in my paper crafting business that I do some just custom boxes. He sells honey and he sells bath products and different things like that. And so he hired me to do some custom boxes. So he has this honey that he gets from a local bee farm that's a citrus apple. And so he gives me this, jar of citrus
The
apple
look
honey.
on his face
Yeah.
right there, like, oh,
Yeah.
That's
That
my
sounds
face for
good.
sure.
It truly is amazing. So we started out and
Wow, I
and
never heard of that.
And the base of it is a white chocolate. The base of the fudge is the same, and then I add in the citrus apple honey. And so we did that. And then when you take a taste of that, it's similar to the spicy. You kind of just taste, kind of the white chocolate and the fudge base. But then all of a sudden, a few seconds go by and you go, oh, there's that apple flavor. Oh,
Now,
man,
is that the
is
caramel apple?
fantastic. That is not the caramel apple.
That was one of the flavors. Literally, you can see I'm not
caramel
lying that I
apple.
wrote down.
Yeah, so this one it's called citrus apple honey. And then I took that and I added some walnuts. And then, as happens when I'm out and about,
You're killing me, by the way.
I have my fudge in a shop in Winter Garden, and the owner was like, "Can you make this citrus apple with apples instead of walnuts?" She's not allergic to nuts, but she doesn't really care for nuts.
Yeah,
and I
the
was
texture
like,
and stuff.
and that's how another flavor is born.
That's
Oh,
so
live feedback like that.
yeah, so I did. I made that, and then I went and did just some free tastings in her shop. It was a couple of weekends ago. It became. I had 12 little quarter-pound packages, and when I left after a few hours, there was only 3 left.
Oh, wow.
It was very popular, and again, it's one of those things where you can taste the apples in it, right? Because you're getting that right away. But then you kind of walk away and you just kind of stop and you go, "Oh, there's some more apple honey flavor going on in there
Oh.
too."
I
it's
love
really
that, the
good.
complexity of it.
I was going to say
Yes.
it's exactly what
Yeah.
we're on the same wavelength because
We're
I was
right
going to say
there, we're right
the
there.
complexity. It reminds me of like a wine tasting or something
Yes.
because you're you're searching around your brain for all the flavors that are popping up. That's cool. And I would imagine you have enough experience making fudge to where when you get a request, you know how not to, because it wouldn't be too hard to make a fudge that wasn't very good. Yeah. You're like, oh, I'll try orange or whatever but you have a base already that you know how to make.
And you probably know what flavors would pair well together after making it for so long, because you know somebody comes up with something crazy, you're going to be like,
but I wonder if there is such a thing that it isn't a good flavor after looking at all your flavors. I suppose if it was something weird like vegetable or beef or something weird.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go that route. Yeah, and you'd be surprised. Like I had a request one time for dark chocolate and pineapple.
That is a weird one.
That sounds good to me.
And so if you like dark chocolate, that probably would be a good flavor. Now that's not on the list of flavors on the website, but from that, then it was like, well, gosh, I already have now I just went and got some coconut, and then I already got the pineapple, and I said, well,
pina colada.
And summertime's coming, and how about let's do some pina colada?
Oh my God.
And it became a pretty popular flavor too during the summer months when,
Now, do you try to do where you do seasonal and, specialty ones where they're not always available? So it kind of gives your customer something to look forward to the next season.
Exactly.
Pumpkin spice.
Yeah, so we've got the pumpkin spice. We've got 3 variations of the pumpkin spice out right now, and and some of those summer flavors are set aside. Now they're still on the website, and if you wanted to go and you that's like strawberry lemonade really was very popular, and if somebody
that's the other one on my list.
Is that another one on there?
That's the last one. I had 4. That was one of them.
Yes. So that's very popular in the summer too. But I don't just make it and bring it out to the markets. If someone were to order some, then I of course would, fulfill the order and then have that, the rest of the batch out in a market. But I
always
just
get
make
excited
it.
when I know that she's doing a special order on either strawberries or raspberries.
Joe gets a spatula ready.
Oh, wait a second. I come out in the morning and the strawberries are already in the container and they're doing their thing. And it's like, oh man, it's going to be a good night.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I love it. But what I also get from that too is that when you say seasonal, that means what you're bringing to markets is seasonal, but you can order any of it anytime.
Anytime. If it's on the website, you can order it and I'll make it. Yeah, it takes about 48 hours for me because I do work during the day still.
Of course.
So what I do is I make fudge at night. I cut, package, and label in the morning before I work, and then I work all day. And then, I might take a 15-minute step away from it all, and we, sit together and kind of catch up on our day. And
but isn't that the life of
a
small business owner?
It
right
really
there.
is. It really is.
We can so relate.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Exactly.
That is. What do we do in the morning? What do we do in the afternoon?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here's my schedule. Here's what's happening. Weekends are at markets.
Yeah. I feel like busy is good though. I've always felt that way.
I don't
what
mind.
else would you be doing if you're not busy? Then I don't know. I like being busy.
I do too.
My thing recently is trying to get better at marketing. We talked about marketing. Where I'm great at talking to people. Like go out, let me just go get people and just,
Yeah.
But, social media is our platform. That's how we market nowadays. So I have took on the challenge of putting together a marketing calendar for next year.
Oh boy.
That's pretty overwhelming.
Like social media. I mean, I'm assuming you do social media posts, Brenda, stuff like that. Joe is the techie over here, so I'm sure you're involved in that.
He doesn't.
No, okay.
No, that's all me because I know I'm doing doing whatever flavors.
So you know when to post, what to post.
You're
so.
in it. You're at the events. You're going to snap a picture and do something right then.
Exactly. It just makes more sense for me, to do the social media just because I'm
only good at posting memes.
I hear you. It's funny. I don't even know why I said
that.
that.
Go good with products sometimes.
It
know
does.
what I mean? So
really
if you find the right one and you post it, it's
I'm like, honey, you got to use this. And that's like my involvement. Right?
But then people want to share it.
Use this here. Let me send it.
Exactly. People want to share it and they don't forget it.
Yes,
that's the other thing. It just sticks. They stick in your head like those jingles from when we were kids on toy commercial or bologna. Oscar Mayer
bologna.
Wiener,
that's the first thing that came to my mind was the bologna commercial.
Well, I don't know why I said Joe, you're probably because I am super techie and I'm terrible at marketing the whole thing
yeah.
socially. Not that you are, but I just don't know when. There's
I
specific
am
times a
terrible
day
at social media unless I'm on Twitter doing stuff that has nothing to do
with that,
business.
right? And I, like personal Facebook and posting about things. It's fine. I just there is a science to when to post, how many times to post.
Yeah.
Certain days you post less times than other days,
You
and
know
I'm
what
like,
I
I
am-
can't keep up with it.
On our social media, I am really good at sharing your post.
Right.
Like other small businesses, when they have an event or something, I'm like, oh, you guys have to get out, and I'm
Yeah.
sharing their
Yep.
post on our social media. I'm really great at that.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of not good at, I don't want to say tooting our own horn, but
Yeah,
like,
we're terrible at that.
Creating-
We'll go in.
Creating
saying,
the
here's
content
what
that
we
fits
do.
for social media
Exactly.
itself.
Yeah.
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 So that's my challenge for myself next
But
year.
it's
Get
weird
better.
because you can I've talked to a couple people now that are kind of like specialists on social. They get hired to do that, and you can post the same thing like on a Monday morning at 8, and I'm just making up the times here. And you could post the same thing again
Wednesday
on like
at 2 is the
Wednesday at
day.
2, and
I know
you'll
that.
get like 2 likes versus 100. It's the same because people. It's when they're on their device, and there's like a general rhythm. It's too much for me, but
it's a lot of math.
it's a
and
lot for a
just-
small business to figure out too.
It's like
It
it's
really
like for instance,
is.
okay, I've worked in radio for years. One of the things that we found is a radio station that works really good on social if we're looking to find female engagement with a certain post is posted on Sunday afternoon or into Sunday evening when the guys are watching football. When the guys are watching football and they're on their phone or they're on their computer over not watching the football game. It's amazing.
But see, someone has figured out
Much
the,
bigger
Somebody's
numbers.
figured that out. Yeah.
someone's figured out the rhythm of society that way, and that's the
Yeah.
part that I'm so bad about because I'm like, I will post as soon as I think of it. Oh, I should post about that episode, and it's Friday
And
at
it's the
midnight.
And
completely
nobody's
wrong
looking
Nobody's-
at them.
Or Monday when our episodes come out and it's like Monday morning because we have to get on with our day. So
Everyone
yeah.
in the middle of the workday, it's like 10 a.m. Everyone's working, nobody's paying
Nobody's
attention.
looking, or they shouldn't be anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's also what the small business community is great at because
helping each other
helping
cross-promote.
each other, somebody that is
Yes.
really great at the social media will give those tips to somebody else. And then you
really
take that
do.
one little tip, and even if you just apply one little thing, it can change things so much for you.
It really can.
So I love that.
And I like how Whimsy does cross promotion on their stuff too, because it makes you aware, like on their Facebook, of other small businesses, and it's that is purely businesses supporting businesses, which is really cool.
Yeah, that we started this conversation talking about the whole community, and it really is. The Whimsy team, they'll even create graphics where you have to do is plop your logo in there.
Yep.
So they try to help in that way too, because they know they're small business owners
Yeah.
themselves.
Yes. Oh, yes.
In addition to the event
How
coordination,
time consuming just
And
that can be.
It can be. And when you're, up in the morning cutting and packaging and labeling and then working an 8 to 9 hour day, and then you're, maybe making dinner to keep, Joe and I alive because somebody's got to do that.
Right.
And
Can't live on-
soup
you can't- you
live
can't
on
live
ramen
on-
noodles.
And fudge, you can't live on fudge.
Soup and fudge.
No.
You can try.
You can try. You can try for a little while.
Doesn't sound like a horrible thing
Then
to
the
try.
doctor starts checking your blood and
Somebody's
going,
gotta do
do you
it."
get any nutrients in your diet? What's going on here? What's happening? I want to talk about so the small businesses you've partnered up with. I know you do events, and I'm assuming that's kind of the majority of your sales is what I would think, but I might be wrong. Might be online.
It's kind of half and half. Like during the summer, I really can't do a whole lot of
Oh, understandable.
markets, right?
Why would you want to anyway?
Well, I know.
Oh, because the fudge will melt, or
Fudge just does not. It doesn't like heat.
No,
Yes.
of
Now we
course
have
not.
we have worked toward we've got that solution, and I
little cooler.
put that
something like
solution into practice this weekend, which wasn't needed because it was super cold outside. But I do have my fudge in a couple of markets.
Okay, perfect.
And
Tell us
so-
about where they are, and then because I was do you like go set up in the places and give samples to kind of
Sometimes too.
like
Sometimes,
yeah.
Mhm.
You know how at
So-
Costco,
Yep.
they have the people giving the
Yeah.
samples to see.
it's the only
Exactly.
reason
Do I
go
wanna
to
buy
Costco.
this or
That's
not?
the only
Yeah.
reason. I'm gonna go have lunch. I'm gonna go get all the samples.
Lunchtime, going to Costco.
Yeah. So the Donna Vista Market,
Okay.
and they're right across the highway from the Mason Jar out in
Oh,
Umatilla.
yes.
And then, of course, the crafted scent bar. She keeps just a small stash of fudge there, so she has that available for her guests. And then the Howie Market up in Howie in the Hills.
Okay.
Fudge
You
is
writing
doing
all these
real
down?
well
I
there.
sure am.
Got it.
And then I have a market in Winter Garden that's called the Driftwood Market.
I know exactly where it is, and
Yeah.
I love Winter Garden is our favorite little town.
Okay,
It's
yes.
like our town we go to. We got married down there,
Aw,
or a little anniversary town. We love it.
Yeah.
Love it so much.
Yeah. So all of the owners, all of those locations, they of course offered the opportunity to come in because fudge is one of those things, and not all fudge is created equal. And
Ooh, that's a good T-shirt.
yeah, right.
You should totally.
I
make
totally need to make a
t-shirts and
T-shirt.
sell
Or I might know a couple of T-shirt
I think you
businesses
might.
that might be able to do that for me because I don't know where I would find the time.
Yeah.
But so I am of the mindset that you should try this fudge before you buy it because that you might enjoy the other fudge more than you enjoy mine. Now I don't know why because Meem's fudge is the best. Joe said I ruined him on all other fudge when he first tried Meem's fudge, or when he first tried my fudge. It
That's
wasn't
a
even a
good problem to
business
have,
yet.
though.
I tried her fudge and we went, I won't say where we went. It was one of the lighthouses in Florida. We'll just
Put it
Got
that way.
it. Got
okay,
it.
we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And in their little sandwich shop or whatever, they had some fudge. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll try some fudge. And we got the fudge, and I had one bite, and I said, this isn't fudge.
See, that's the thing, though.
How long has this been on the shelf for?
I know. And that fudge there was supposed to be, out
So
of this
good,
world
Top of the
fudge.
line,
And
yes.
I'm just ruined on any other fudge but this fudge.
But once
Because
you probably
once
know
you-
not to buy it now anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
once you
What's the
try this
sense?
fudge, there's
Yeah.
no going back.
Yeah.
There's
Love
no
it.
going back.
I love it. And I
Yeah.
love the catchphrases too. I swear that's what we should name this episode. Not all fudge is created equal.
There you go.
Totally should. And hey, small business owners who own the shirt companies out there, you got to get this shirt. She needs some product, some what do they call it?
I need some merch.
Needs some merch.
Oh, merch.
Need some
I need
swag.
Some merch
Yeah,
and
some
swag.
But that is a really catchy. That's very
but
catchy.
as far as the, once you've tried this fudge, there's no going back. I mean,
It is-
she sees that out at markets all the time of people describe the process.
Yeah, so whatever flavor fudge that I have for sale on the day, I bring all of those flavors, and you can try them all if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Right? And now they're not a full piece.
Little samples, of
little-
course.
just little samples. I don't want you leaving going into diabetic coma or anything.
Or I'm stuffed. Don't need to buy any now.
Exactly. But I can't even describe the joy that it brings me to see the face of someone who first tries my fudge. It's like pure joy.
That's the payoff.
right.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, that's it right there. That's it right there. Even
Yeah.
if they've just tried a classic flavor like chocolate, and their smile just goes from okay, and it just brightens their face and their eyes, and it just makes me the happiest person on the planet.
Oh, I love
And
it.
it probably
it
brings
just-
back such great memories too, because you guys looked forward to that probably from your meeting,
Yes,
yes. And you probably felt the same way when you ate it. Oh, this is so good, and they're kind of getting that same experience
Yeah.
that you had growing up.
And what's great too is that they'll start telling me, oh yeah, my granddad used to make fudge and just bring it to Thanksgiving all of that.
There's those
It
memories
helps
again.
them to
Memories.
remember
Yeah.
that connection to family time and
I
it
love
just brings me it's joy.
You never
Just
knew
brings
that
me
fudge
so much
could be
joy.
a song, huh?
No, trust me, I love this kind of stuff. I love sweets, so I could make a song for sure.
Right, but you know how certain songs bring back certain memories in
Oh,
certain
I see what you're
places.
saying. Yeah,
You never knew that fudge could be a song.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm also willing to bet that some of the people that buy on your website are people that have had it and bought it from the markets when they rent. Because a lot of the time, we're regulars, probably all four of us in the markets
Yep.
because small businesses in the markets. But some people might go to a market and never go to that market again. But
Yeah.
Or
now
be on
they-
vacation and just
Right.
something
She
to
has
do.
people coming out searching her down
I
at
have
markets.
so
Oh, yeah?
of course I try to
Good.
get everybody to to follow Meem's Fudge on Instagram and Facebook. So, because I will post where I'm going to be. And, if you want a certain flavor, let me know ahead of time so I can make sure I've got it out there for you. And I do have one gal, and bless her, I just absolutely love her. I was at a market that was going to start at 11 o'clock this past weekend. She showed up at 10 a.m. because she wanted to make sure that I got her flavor. She needed her flavor.
Oh, I love that.
So they find me out in the market. They'll go and see what kind of flavors are available. And now they may not place the order online, but they'll message me and say, hey, for your market at, whatever upcoming market, I'm interested in maybe the key lime pie. Can you make sure you've got some of that out there? And I'll
order.
Be there.
So
it's definitely an order.
You have a sale already. So that's wonderful.
When you've got 40 different flavors and you're limited time, what flavors do I bring out to the market? Now, of course, I've got the standard, and of course, I've got the the seasonal flavors out there. But there's just so many other flavors out there. Like the other day, somebody asked me, "Oh, they looked at the brochure. You've got banana? Oh, but I don't have any out here today." Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I think it's like we talk to some of the other businesses like Coco's. I think it's kind of good that you don't too, because people get like analysis paralysis when they get up there, and then they're holding up the line because there's
one.
You don't
30,
want
40.
Oh yeah. I don't think I could. I wouldn't want to bring all 40.
Try to manage.
But what's nice too is this possibly maybe at the next market you'll have a whole different batch, and maybe they'll visit you at the next market to see what you're going to have then. Now, do you list the flavors you're going to be bringing?
Oh no,
to
it's
the
all
markets?
a surprise.
Oh, I like that though.
Yeah, it's all a surprise. You got to come find out what flavors
Come
you get to
find
taste
me.
today.
Come talk to me.
That's
Come to
how
my
you
booth.
probably discover new flavors that you might not have tried. That
That's
might be your
right.
new favorite because
True. So I might have let's see, a flavor that I put out. Espresso is one of those flavors that folks,
it'll knock your head off.
It's one of those that
sounds
you
real
look
good.
at it and you go, I don't know that I want to buy that. But if you come to a market and you get to taste it, now you can go to the Donna Vista market or the Howie market or the Driftwood market and go, I've tasted that. It's amazing. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
Right. So some of
Well,
those
espresso
flavors,
martini is my favorite drink. So anything espresso. I just bought an espresso martini candle from the last event.
Oh, yes.
So-
So, it gives folks the opportunity, if they come to see me at a market, taste some of the different kind of more gourmet flavors, then they can buy it there, of course. But then if they see it out, if they're at the, some of the shops that I'm in, they can trust that it's going to be good because they've already had the chance to taste it.
And I like that you said that because it isn't just fudge. It's gourmet fudge.
Some of them are, yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you can buy it right on your website also, though,
You
for
can.
for those listening that may not be able to get to one of the markets. And did I read right that it's $10 for a half a pound?
Yes.
Wow.
That's a lot of fudge.
That's a lot of fudge.
So-
That's super reasonable price, too.
It is. And what I have found, and we've not been able to get the fudge, the sizes updated. At the markets, I usually do a quarter pound, and you get a quarter pound for $5. And so at the more recent markets, folks will say, so, because, Thanksgiving is coming up. It's a great time to bring fudge for your dessert table. Christmas will be coming. You'll want to do that, and maybe you want to gift it. So go on to the website, meemsfudgeshop.com.
We'll put links in the show notes, too,
Yeah.
for
So people
everyone
can
listening. Just scroll down and click it.
Yeah, just scroll and look. So you can see all of the flavors. Then just send me an email and say, hey, I'm looking to get, quarter pound of panucci, quarter pound of chocolate, quarter pound of, I don't know, caramel apple. And, then we'll just meet up. We'll just, I'll get it made for you. We'll meet up.
Oh, nice.
And that way you can save on, shipping costs and all of that, especially if you're in
that's
the
great.
local to Tavares, Eustis, that area.
this
So-
area.
Now, do you ship everywhere?
I can, and right now, since it's cool, in the cooler months, yes.
I see.
All in the
Because it's a race
in
against the
United.
weather.
Yeah.
It really is. So, and even in the summer, I will ship, but I will ship on a Monday. so it gets to your house, or we'll figure out when you're going to be home.
It's not sitting out
So
there
it's
melting.
not going to sit out and, on your front porch and melt, and then you open it up and you're disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen.
I hope this isn't like a big no-no in the fudge community, especially gourmet fudge. Can you freeze fudge?
So I don't recommend freezing it. You can put it in the refrigerator. I actually keep it stored at 50 degrees. We've got some cooler refrigeration that I use, and that comes with me to the markets.
How long can you keep? How will it stay good in the fridge?
So I put a 4-week date on my fudge from the time I make it. 4 weeks. That is an on the counter time, right? So it'll last 4 weeks on your counter. If you're air conditioning your home, 75, 76, 78 degrees.
Shoot,
if
that's
you put
air
it in
conditioning?
Yeah.
We're at 70 house.
Joe will tell you I'd probably freeze him out because I like it really low.
I'm hot in here right now.
67 degrees, we're just getting started.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah. So if you put it in the refrigerator, it'll last, several weeks actually. The worst thing that's going to happen to Meem's fudge is it will dry out.
Okay.
Right.
That's
and so
why
then it's not
freezing it is kind of a,
freezing it will get it dry. And then once you start to thaw it out, then
flavors don't come back the same. Yes.
So I don't recommend freezing it, but definitely you could put it in the refrigerator. And personally, I like mine at room temperature.
Got another
nice and
t-shirt.
soft.
Fresh is best.
Fresh is best.
I tell you what, in the middle of summer, I like that 50-degree fudge coming out of the
I
fridge.
bet.
Yeah, 'cause it's
when
just
it's
nice
when
and
it's
cool.
hot.
Yeah.
So it's like a cool treat kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's so good. Yeah, he
Joe,
likes it that way.
I bet you have a smile on your face every day, don't you?
Well, yes.
Because I could when you're talking about it,
Your enthusiasm.
I can feel it. I can feel that you like
It's that good.
it's
You
good.
will not find another fudge that tastes like these fudges taste.
Yeah.
That, just the way that they hit your tongue, the smoothness, the texture, that you will not find another fudge that's like this.
Joe's got me wanting to run out to the car and get those samples.
You need to send him out there for your samples.
Your Mimi really got that recipe down pat. And I have a question about when the recipe was passed down. Now, was this something, did you happen to have a handwritten from her? Because you know how on the index cards our grandmas always used to write, their recipes. Or was it just a taught thing?
It's in our head.
Oh, that's the best way, so no one can take your recipe.
Now, I will tell you, I did write it down because my oldest granddaughter, she wanted to learn how to make fudge. And so her first fudge was cookies and cream.
Oh, yeah.
And so for Christmas one year, I was up there and I gifted her the base recipe of the fudge. Not all of the, gourmetness of some of the flavors that we have, but
she's got to get creative if she wants to do that.
Exactly.
Did you tell her she needs to destroy it after she memorizes it?
I know. It's a family secret.
Shredder.
So
Burn after reading.
now, she was not all, because, fudge is quite the process. You can't, once you get it on the heat, you cannot stop stirring.
Yes.
And you have to
I
cook
didn't
it.
know that.
Yes.
It'll burn. Yeah.
It will scorch all along the bottom of it. So it is a constant stirring. So, of course, when you're young, that is just not something you want to do.
No patience.
Now, when I was young, we didn't have all of these cell phones and Facebook and all this kind of fun, movie
Nothing else
things.
to do but stir the fudge.
I didn't have anything else to do when I was, because we're talking, that was a whole lot of years ago. But now, she's got Facebook and all of her friends, and they're texting and Snapchatting. So stirring for anywhere, 7-ish more minutes, that's not what she wants to do.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that. Of course, I've never made fudge, but I have made cakes. So it's not like I haven't made desserts. But so you have to stir for more than 7 minutes, just constant.
Yeah. So you'll see some fudge recipes that'll tell you your fudge heat needs to get to a certain temperature. And fudge doesn't ever get to that temperature. So it's really the science in the cooking time, so that it cooks your sugar down to a certain kind of thickness.
Because
so that
if
when
not, it's crystallized still in the brownie or in the fudge. Sometimes you'll bite a piece of fudge and it's not that smoothness like Joe's talking
Not
about.
this
It's
fudge.
kind of
That's when you got it wrong.
crunchy.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So that's exactly right. So there's the base part of the fudge, and so you get all of that into the pan, and once you turn that heat on, it's
go time.
It's a commitment.
It's go time, and don't
No distractions.
No distractions.
Can't pick the phone up.
I know. Make sure that because then you're going to add ingredients to it. Once it's cooked down to its proper thickness, then you're going to add ingredients, and so that's quite the process too. Because I like it super creamy. I like my fudge because it is light. It's super creamy. You never have that, sugar feeling in there.
It's loaded down.
It's buttery, buttery, creamy kind of fudge.
So do you have to, I don't want to give away any secret, but do you have to keep stirring as you're putting ingredients in too?
Yeah, it's just like,
wow.
Yeah, it's just,
once she starts,
he just,
you got to leave her alone.
Anything else that happens in the world, Joe's taking care of that because she ain't moving.
I can't.
Joe's on deck. I'm stirring.
Exactly. And once you open a business, it's you want to make sure that every single chocolate, every single peanut butter, every single flavor that you put out there is going to be the same as the very first one you ever tried,
consistency.
right? That consistency in it. And so it is, it's, all right, Joe, I'm making four batches of fudge right now. And so for the next 2.5 hours, I'm doing fudge.
You're on fudge duty.
And he's taking care of the rest of the world.
I don't know if fudge duty sounded too good together.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does say that. That is not going on a shirt.
I'm not naming
not
the
happening.
episode Fudge Duty, just so you know. But,
oh my gosh.
But, you said about
funny.
Consistency. That reminds me, it seems like a lot of these small businesses that then became big businesses, and now they're global. That's the issue. The consistency is gone. So that's amazing that as a small business, your big focus is to make sure it's always the same, especially as one person that makes all this. It's, you don't have anybody else helping you make it. So.
No.
She makes every single batch.
That is awesome.
To me, that's more of a draw. That's really what draws us to small businesses is that there is a special love that is put into the making of that candle, the making of that batch of cookies or fudge or whatever it is. We know where the product came from. And if your name is on it, you're usually putting your 110%.
And that's where the quality is always better.
But at the beginning of the show, you popped your head up over the couch and you looked at Joe and said, I'm starting a fudge shop.
Yep.
So is the dream to actually have a shop, or do you want to continue with the cottage? What do they call it? Cottage kitchen, right?
Cottage food.
Cottage food.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to continue with it that way, or is the dream to actually have an actual shop, maybe with a kitchen in it, where you can do this?
Yeah. So I hope my boss isn't listening right now, but my goal really is.
Hey, you're allowed to have dreams.
My goal, and it's really. She is super supportive.
I love that.
Fact,
I love to hear
that. She does worry. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. But my goal really is to retire out of corporate at an age because I'm hitting that 6-0 business here. Coming up in a couple of months, and I do want to be able to retire out of corporate. But I am that person who wants to continue doing something.
Of course.
And, since my family had been so encouraging all along to open up a fudge shop, my goal would be to have a shop, but not just a fudge shop. I want to be able to offer an experience for someone to come in. And if it's to have hot cocoa and coffee and stuff, just come in, because like we've said a couple of times, fudge kind of brings about a memory.
Yes.
And so if you can come in, have a seat, try some fudge, drink a cup of coffee, so whatever. But I'm also a paper crafter.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into paper crafting because of my grandmother. We moved away from her. She lived in Massachusetts. We moved to Florida. And back then, we didn't have cell phones and Facebook Messenger.
Write a good old-fashioned
letter. So I had
to
write letters and cards. And so when I found paper crafting, I was like, oh. And that started way before fudge did.
Yeah.
And I feel I'm envisioning a space where you can come in and get fudge. Oh, I can go make a greeting card that I can send to my grandmother or my grandchild or something along those lines. So I can
really
have
cool.
like dual space and maybe have, different, not like Melanie's creative hub, but, something where you can just come in and just kind of sit and maybe, make a, a greeting card or see some
Or a little
other
box
things
for
or
your
boxes,
fudge.
boxes of fudge, so you can ship it away and
Your own little gift box you made.
Yeah. So that's kind
So
of
cool.
the vision that
Oh,
I've got going
that.
I
on.
do too. It sounds like a really cool place.
Yeah.
And what just like a special tribute to your Beamy, because you're two things that you kind of have a memory of around her, and then bringing that kind of full circle, and maybe starting a little shop that your daughters take over or your granddaughter takes over one day, and just building like a legacy.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I keep putting that bug in all of the grandchildren's ear.
Yeah.
Who's taken over the fudge business when I can't stand to cook the fudge anymore?
Yeah.
Who's doing the stirring?
Who's coming to stir the fudge?
You never know, though. You could
That
be
is awesome.
the person that's still in the shop, just asking the people what they think of it, and talking
Yeah.
to the
yeah.
customers and stuff. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see myself, not being involved.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that.
That's
Well, I
awesome.
think that's a great vision and a great retirement
Thank you. Yeah.
thing to do to keep yourself busy and just growing that. What did I say earlier? Legacy.
A legacy.
Legacy. There you go.
Yeah.
I remembered what I said.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out. It was so cool to learn about the fudge. I'm super excited to try it right after we finish this episode.
Try what they brought, because you have tried it before.
I have tried it. I don't know
Yes.
if I've tried these flavors though. Do you remember which flavor that you brought to
I
me?
think I just brought you the plain one,
Okay.
just chocolate. I just
you've
stayed
only had
safe.
the plain?
He's only had the plain. Yes.
Oh, are you?
Joe
in
just
for
rolled
a
his eyes
treat?
at me.
I played it safe, because you don't like you.
Yeah.
There isn't a ton of flavors at
Yeah, the
At the
Crafted
Crafted
Scent
Scent
Bar,
Bar.
she just,
Yeah,
she
there's
just
like
carries a couple.
3 maybe up on top of the thing. So
Yeah,
I played it safe and said, okay, I'm just going to try this one.
Yeah, it was very good. I remember I ate it all in one sitting. So
Oh,
Yes,
boy.
he did. Now me, I enjoy a little, and then
I
a little later.
enjoyed every bite of it. I just kept enjoying it until it was gone.
He can't stop. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
Yes.
good luck to you with everything.
Yes.
We're excited to see you at the events when we're there. Actually, so you're not going to air till January for this episode.
Okay.
And hey, guys, what a better way to start off your year than with fudge?
Yes.
You know what? New Year's resolution: eat more fudge.
Let's put a nice, easy to remember website in your mind right now.
Yes.
WeMakeFudge.com.
Yes. And
I love
scroll
it.
down on your app and click it, because the link will be right underneath this
Bam.
episode
Nice.
for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, we will November 26th, which is Shop Small weekend, Shop Small Saturday.
Yep.
You will be at the event at Sensational Farms.
I
so
will be at Sensational Farms. That goes from 11 to 4. And Joe is actually going to go set up for me at the Howie Market for their
nice.
event. And I will go join him.
So you'll
and
be at 2
there's-
events that
yes,
day.
so
for
the
Shop
Howie
Small
Market will
Saturday.
be 3 to 8.
Very cool. So we'll see you there. Dan's going to be out there doing some drone work. So we'll be there for a couple hours.
Nice.
So we'll stop by and say hello.
Yeah,
right, look
indeed.
forward
That's
to it.
awesome. And I just added that to our notes as well.
Nice.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much once again for joining us. And just want to remind everybody that we do have a Patreon page. Go ahead and scroll down. You can click on that, see how you can help support the show and all these, fancy apparatuses that we have here in the studio. And remember, at the end of each and every day, it's all fine and dandy.